Hello all you Mopar gearheads. Just got a special delivery today, and this is from B&G Chrysler. This video I'm making for those of you that have a 392 and are getting a flashed ECU or thinking about getting a flashed ECU. Just got it in this nice Mopar box here. Haven't even opened it yet. I'm going to go ahead and open it now. See what we got inside. Okay. Wow. Alright, so this is the ECU. This is what it looks like. It comes into this hardened case with these connectors. I've got a set of instructions here that I got from off Challenger Talk from some users that posted some good info. So I'm going to use those instructions and try to get this installed into the car. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do before I do any work under the hood is I'm going to disconnect the battery. So I got my trunk open here, and I'm going to disconnect the positive cable from the battery. I don't know if this ECU is considered hot swappable or not, so I'm going to make sure that there's no juice while the ECU gets changed out. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're under the hood now. We're going to remove the plastic piece that's covering up the ECU. I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver to pop the pins out. There's 2 pins, and one of them is a little bit more difficult to get to, so you want to be careful. Okay, so we got the pins out. Now we're just going to go ahead and remove this plastic piece. One just flew out. I'll find it. Got it. Okay, now we're going to remove the bracket bolt, which is looking at this here, looks to be like this bolt right here, right next to the hood switch. The hood switch is put on the automatics, basically for the remote start. So we're going to be removing that, but first we want to loosen this all up in here by removing the brace bolt here. Alright, so we got the bolt out. Okay, so now that the bracket is loose, you can kind of move this thing around a bit in here. Got a little bit of room. The hood switch is a little tricky. I pulled out the top by pushing in the 2 sides that clip on. Okay, but the connector is down at the bottom. The connector is down at the bottom of it here, and I need to get that off. It looks like there's a couple of clips. If I turn this around, you can see it's clipped on there. So I'm going to try to get it off with a screwdriver and see if I can't pop the connector off so that I can remove the rest of this. Alright, after playing with the hood switch connector for a little bit, I got it to come off. I basically had to remove one side of it on the clip and then go to the other side and remove that clip, and then it just popped right off. So if you can see down in here, right here, this is the hood switch that needs to be the connector that needs to be disconnected. Alright, so now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull the PCM out of the car. And bring it out like such. Okay, and the PCM is out of the car. So You'll want to take special note of how these are connected. The smaller bundle of wire goes on the gray connector, and the other set of wires with the conduit wrapped around it, I'll just call it the bigger bundle of wires, will be going on the brown connector. So you want to remember that for when you put in your PCM. So next we're going to go ahead, we're going to remove these. And we'll just lay them down. They're not going to go anywhere. And you just pull up on the red switch like I did on the last one, and they pop right off. Alright, so this is the old PCM removed from the vehicle. Next we'll take this bracket and we'll put it onto the new PCM, and then we'll reinstall it into the car, basically using the reverse set of steps, but I'll go through it in this video. Okay, if you note the orientation of the way that this bracket is held on, you have the brown connector up top towards the bracket, and that goes on the bracket itself. We're just going to remove these two. Nuts here. All right. And we have our new PCM. It's just going to go on the same way that it was on the old one. Just like that. And then we're just going to put the nuts back on, tighten them down. They don't have to be super tight. You want it, hand strength tight with the wrench. You don't want to overdo it. And tighten those down. That's tight. That's good. Okay, so now we're ready to put the new PCM into the car. Okay, I got a little bit ahead of myself. On the old PCM, you'll notice a rubber thing here. You want to take that out of the old one and put it into the new one in the same location, which is going to be at the other end of where the bracket is located. So you want to put that in there. That's to protect it from vibrations and shaking, I'm sure, while it's down in there. Okay, so I'm reconnecting everything. Remember that big conduit wrapped bundle of wires goes on the brown. So I've got it pretty much, you just seat it in there, and then once you seat it in there, you pull back on the red lever and it will lock it in. And then you're going to do the same thing with the gray connector. It's a little bit of a tight fit getting everything in. Okay. So you push it down as far as it'll go, and then pull the lever back. It will seat it in there for you. And it's in. Alright, so now we want to take the whole assembly and rotate it back into its location. So the switch is getting in the way, so I'm going to pop it back out. Okay. Alright. Now it's back in its location, and we're just gonna reconnect the hood switch, which is gonna be a little bit tricky here. There's not a lot of playroom on the switch connector itself, so, but you'll probably find it easier to put it in if you have it loosened or disconnected from the top part of it, disconnected from the bracket. Okay, so hood switch is back in there. We're good. So we'll just snap the hood switch back into its rightful place and go back and reposition this. Okay. All right. It is in place. So now we're going to put the bracket bolt back in. Alright, so I got the bracket bolt, and I'm just going to hand thread it in there a little bit. Make sure it's nice and going in smoothly. Alright. And try and line it up just the way that it was when I took it out. Make sure it's hand tight. It is. All right, and now we're going to replace the plastic piece. Just push the darts back in where they go. And then put in the pins that go in the top of the dart. Alright, that's it. Now we have a B&G custom tune on a 2011 Challenger 392 with the automatic 5.